another episode of the Brycesketball Podcast, episode 4. Today, I'm joined with, the person, T, and he's back, just to give us an analysis on our past game against Merrimack. T, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Good. Well, a little bit different result this time. We took an L, but I think in those losses and whatnot, we could still learn. So against Merrimack, they beat us pretty good, about a comfortable 15-point lead. Let's just talk about how they got to that point.
Well, yeah, from what I've seen, that whole game, we could not figure them out.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those games where it's just like we were waiting for it to end so we can learn from our mistakes and get better. That game, they just played way better than us from the start to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish we had some answers for their zone.
Definitely. And that's what it was. You said they played way different and we couldn't figure them out. It was their zone. So talk to me why you think we struggled with the zone.
I feel like we didn't move the ball quick enough.
Uh-huh.
We gave them the same looks. We were in the same spot almost every time. We didn't move enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we couldn't do anything on offense, we couldn't get it back in defense. They
Right.
pulled away, so they kept scoring when we needed stops.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wish our offense and defense weren't on the same page. I wish one of them were on the same page so we could actually have a chance at that game.
Fighting chance, yeah. That makes sense, man. I think, when you have a zone, I think it's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of guarding, your typical man, guys on defense have an area to guard, and I think that gave us a lot of problem because of the fact that, we see that only against Merrimack. Nobody else plays zone for the whole entire game, and I think that threw us for a loop. But I do think we did do some good things throughout the game. I think in the first half, especially when it was close, we got the ball to the middle and to the short corner, which are, breaking spots in the zone because you could, facilitate and get to different spots from there. That being said, I just think they wore us down. Would you agree with that? Would you see that there?
I 100% agree with that. In this game, we didn't do all bad, as you said. In the first half, we were doing really, really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just they play really physical. They play in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
They do stuff that no one else does, and it kind of frustrated us in our heads a little bit.
Right.
So we kind of went away from. We kind of went away from our game plan, and we played right into theirs.
Definitely. So our game plan, was to, one, not let them set up in the zone, and we do that by, getting the rebound and playing fast. That being said, we couldn't get a rebound, and they scored at will, and they pretty much dominated us on the glass. And, yeah, I think our game plan really would have worked, but we didn't execute it. I think a big thing in basketball is having your game plan and then being able to execute it. It's not going to work if you just say it. You got to go out there and do it. So, what is one thing, we get to see him again. What is one thing that you think we should absolutely do 100% better off the top of your head? What's the one thing that stands out?
We got to hit more open shots. Yes, when we move the ball really well, we got open shots, but most of those times in this game, we miss a lot of the open shots, and I feel like we make not every one of those open shots, like a couple more open shots. I think we have them scared a little bit. We have them. We're starting to play our game plan instead of theirs, and I think we win that game.
Definitely. And Yeah, I think that's the main key right there, because when you start making shots, they got to guard you more, and that way the zone gets extended, and in that it opens up everything else on the court. That way, when shots start going in, people have to respect it more, and because they don't want to give it up that way, and you're not going to fix something that's not broke. So if it's going in that way, they're gonna adjust to that. So if we could get them to shift and adjust their defense when we're making shots, that opens up like the sweet spots we talked about earlier, the middle and the short corner, and to be able to get to different spots. What was one thing where you were like, okay, today's just not our day? Was there any specific moment or any run or thing that stood out to you?
I feel like when we weren't making our shots, it got to our head and then we had bunch of defensive breakdowns.
Yeah.
Like when we had a bunch of defensive breakdowns in a row, and we just looked at each other like, what else could we do? That means we were lost that whole second half of the game. But I think it was Merrimack mentally wore us down, so it took a key role in our defensive breakdown. So I think if we were stronger mentally, we would have won that game.
Yeah. I think you saying that, I think exactly of in the second half when they they'd set two screens and they would reject one side and go off the opposite, and we just didn't have an answer for that because we switch every ball screen. They were looking to get the mismatch for their big guy, and they got that every time, and we just didn't adjust to that. Credit to them, their coach is a very smart coach. They're a well-coached team. But I think in order to succeed, we need to be able to find that stuff out quicker. And, yeah, I think Merrimack plays a slow pace. Like, we're on two opposite sides of the spectrum. Merrimack is a, slow pace, let's run our plays, we're going to grind it out. Might not score a lot of points, but we're going to wear you down, as to where we're a fast-paced playing team where we like to go. We like to score a lot and whatnot. And I just think that their execution was better than ours. I think even though we lost, I think we could take a lot from this loss and really learn from it just to be able to be better next time and moving forward. I think, our season's not over. It's one game. One game we would have liked to have, but I think in losses we could learn a lot more too. So, I think we really covered that well. I think as a player out there, I'd agree with what you said, and I think we really saw the same things out there. Here with a familiar guest, Tommaso Ferraresi, again to break down, this time not a specific game, but our season, and we'll get into it. First off, how you doing, Tommaso?
Doing good, Bryce. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Happy to be back.
Yeah. Would have been a little better if, we won it all, but that's how life goes sometimes. So, I think, obviously we lost this past weekend to Merrimack to put us out and end our season, but I think, just recapping on the year we had is, something to really dive into. That being said, what was something this year that we did really well? From somebody out there, just seeing from the sidelines, practicing with us, what was something where you said, okay, this basketball team does this good?
I feel like the recruiting process from our coaches has been really good. I feel like all the players were could match together. We could have been a really good machine, well-oiled machine, if we were not unlucky and we didn't get any injuries. Of course, we got our teammates Brandon and Aiden got a major injury, and then we lost sometimes players during the road, and then we came back. But however, we never had a super healthy team, and I feel like what we did good was a connection on and off the court between us. We had a good time together playing, and off the court too in the locker room. And I feel like that's not something guaranteed nowadays in any basketball team, to have almost to make friends on a
Definitely.
team.
Definitely.
Sometimes people just take it as a 9-to-5 job and just walk into the gym and not talk to others and just do
Right.
your job. But we actually had a pretty good connection, and I'm gonna remember many of these faces.
Yeah, definitely. I think, a lot of the times when people are watching games and they're like, well, they got so-and-so, they have these good players out there, why aren't they winning? I think it comes down to the fact that basketball is more than just having the talent out there. You have to be able to play with each other. You have to have pieces. It's almost like a puzzle. You have to have pieces that fit, and usually the team that has the best fits and the best pieces are the teams that do a lot of the winning, just because basketball is a team sport at the end of the game. Obviously you have your great individual players, you have your good individual players, but when it comes to winning, the team that has the best connection and ability to play with each other is going to win the most. I think we're a team that, had those pieces, but like you said, had injuries and whatnot, and throughout the year, and we just were never fully healthy. That being said, talk about, just the importance of staying healthy throughout the year and, the stuff that you don't necessarily see on the court to keep you healthy. How important that is to just take care of your body and whatnot.
I feel like one of the most underrated things from this generation is sleep. I feel like sleep is very important to let your body rest, get healthier, and to prevent also injuries in general. And also icing your knees.
Yeah.
I do that all the time after practice. I literally brought from Italy some package of blue ice that can be frozen. I think now Bryce stole them, man.
I did.
Yeah. And it's very, very important for me to ice my knees and ice your ankles to prevent injuries, because you put so much weight on your knees and ankles that if you don't take care of them, then one day something slightly off the ordinary is gonna probably cause you a big injury. So
Definitely.
I feel like to dilute the acid lactic too, it's very important.
Definitely. And the fact of the matter is we're putting so much into our bodies, it's hard to just get up and do it every day without taking the necessary precautions, to get healthy. So injuries are something that unfortunately still are going to happen, but being a basketball player, you have to take care of your body to lessen that chance, just because you're working and putting so much time into your body. Obviously, we didn't get the job done. We didn't get to March Madness. How would you say or define this season? People, might say we did all right considering the circumstances. Some people might say we underachieved. What personally, where you at with how this season went?
I believe that at our level of our organization, I would describe it disappointing, not gonna lie. I absolutely believe that we underachieved. We arrived 4th seed when we were projected to be second, and personally we should have been first. And also in the playoffs, we were not able to. We arrived to the semifinal, and there's this interesting stats that in the last 5 years, Sacred Heart University went to the semifinal 4 times. But that can be pretty controversial, because if a team always gets to the semifinal for 4 years in a row and it's not able to get to the final, then there's something missing.
Definitely.
There's something that the team has to, the organization, the coaches, the players has to understand that there's the little extra step that allows you to go to the final, which is, and then in the final you never know what happens.
Definitely.
However, with the level of talent, with the level of players that we had, you can say we were overplayed, overcoached, we got out effort, out coached, outplayed many times.
Definitely. I think another factor that goes into basketball is, again, taking care of your body, staying healthy, having the talent, but also just out there playing hard, man. And I feel like we have a group of great guys and whatnot, but there's times where, like, we just took the foot off the gas and other teams just wanted it more. And I think that mental aspect of just having this competitive edge and wanting to really win and, will yourself into winning is something that we miss at a lot of the times. And I think that showed in a lot of the games we lost. Just overall, in the moment you're thinking like, okay, we're going to get it done. But you go and look back and you're like, well, this happened because of, we simply just looked like we didn't want it, and I think it's really that simple sometimes with basketball. So what is something, next year, the whole team's pretty much coming back. What is something that you want to see a lot more of and something that should be a lot better?
Consistency. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Always work hard, always practice hard, and act like you want it. I believe one of the major problems from this year that it has to be corrected next year, is that we were conscious that we were the best team, talented-wise. Mm-hmm. So when it was regular season, we didn't really care. Like if you got a dub, you were happy. If you got an L, you were like, okay, this doesn't really count, because once we get to playoff, it's just one mm-hmm. game. So mm-hmm. we literally like playing around, getting the dub, like it was like guaranteed. And then once thinking that once you get to the playoff, it's all about getting to the playoffs and then start playing hard. Right. And it doesn't work like that. There's not a switch mm-hmm. that says like, oh yeah, you play the whole season bad, and then when it comes to the playoffs, you turn on the switch and you play good. You have to mm-hmm. you have to build that consistency in that game and then that game like plan. Mm-hmm. So next year, we have to absolutely start like take every game as like a playoff final. Mm-hmm. Because that's not what we took. We took like, okay, there's gonna be another game in 2 days, so if we lose this one, we can win the other one.
Definitely. You're absolutely right, man. I think it's almost like cramming for homework. If you have a big assignment and you do it all in one day, okay, you might be able to get it done, but the quality of it probably isn't going to be as good as it should be. And I think just taking that approach every day prepares you to be in situations that you've been in before. And I think, like you said, we kind of just took it as, okay, let's turn it on right now that the playoffs are here. And as a result, we got the results that happened. So I think you're absolutely right, man. But, this year, was a learning curve. We did all right, but there's still a lot more to look forward to next year. So I think we start getting ready for next year and, try and get the job done. So again, thank you for coming on, Tommaso.
Thank you, Bryce. Always a pleasure to come here.
Of course, man. And I think that'll wrap it up for this episode and this season.